Okay, hi guys. So we are here with Slot 2 ka first impression. I see quite a few of you all are there here. I'm joined with Sharad Avasti as well, who had taken Slot 2. Sharad, there's a little bit of noise behind you. If you could just ask the others to be a little quiet. Yeah, you can just mute it once and go and ask them to be quiet, so that it just becomes a little easier. So before Sharad and I get into it, before we go ahead and start talking about कैसा चल रहा है and क्या होना है, it will be good अगर आप लोग से थोड़ा सुनने में आए कि कैसा गया. I see somebody stating, यार one word to define slot 2, so please go ahead and put in that one word to define the slot 2 as per you कि वो क्या एक शब्द होना चाहिए according to you all. Secondly, it will be good अगर आप अपने attempts भी लिख दो कि भैया मेरे ये अटेम्प्ट है, और सीरियस लिखना, गेसेस मत लिखना यहाँ पे. जैसे डीआईएलआर में कि 9 टीटा आ गए हैं, मैंने 6 गेस मार दिए और टोटल अटेम्प्ट 13 है तो 13 बोल दिया, लोग डर जाएंगे उससे. तो रियल एक्चुअल अटेम्प्ट्स लिखना कि हाँ 7 सीरियस अटेम्प्ट्स है. इट विल बी गुड इफ यू गो अहेड एंड राइट दोस 2 or 3 थिंग्स इन द चैट बॉक्स. इट विल हेल्प अस एस्टिमेट हाउ इट्स गॉन. बट first things first, Sharad, I think coming straight from the exam hall, TCS IN sector 62 से आके आप सेंटर पे बैठे हो, one word to describe it, just one word from a dictionary.
As last year.
So similar to last year is what Sharad is saying. Other than DILR, I think he also agreed that DILR is probably a little tougher than last year because DILR was the easiest last year. But I think Quant, Sharad is saying similar to last year, and verbal also is saying similar to last year, but DILR thoda alag. I'm liking what we are seeing in the chat box.
हाँ, बिल्कुल यही है गौतम. आई थिंक LRDI में थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्टी लेवल अप है, बट आई थिंक DILR में इट इज नाइदर हियर और देयर. यू हैव टू सॉल्व योर सेट्स. मेरी समझ से यदि DILR के सेट्स यदि आपने प्रैक्टिस किए हैं तो आपसे 2 सेट्स हो जाएंगे, एंड बहुत इजी होता पेपर तो आपसे 3 सेट हो जाते हैं. 2 सेट प्लस 2 क्वेश्चन हो जाएंगे. जरूर थोड़ा सा तो टफ है DILR, बट मेरी समझ से क्वांट एट सेम लेवल है.
तो अगर 2 सेट एंड 2 क्वेश्चन देखे, वी आर बेसिकली सेइंग 12 क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट हो सकते हैं. उसमें भी बच्चा 2-3 तो गलत करेगा, नॉर्मल इंसान है, व्हिच मींस इफ यू गेट 3 रॉन्ग सो 27 marks and say 1 or 2 of them are theta. So we are saying 25, 26 once again could be very close to a 99, which is basically what we were stating in slot 1. So it is more difficult than last year for sure, because last year वो same 37 पे था. So 10 मार्क का फर्क है, एक सेट का फर्क, 3 क्वेश्चन का फर्क हमें DILR में तो दिख रहा है. Quant में Sharad, if you look at the chat box ना, the attempts that I am seeing, Prakriti is saying 9 attempts, Pankhuri is saying 9 attempts, Sachi is saying 9 attempts, Rudraksh is saying 12 attempts, Juhi is saying 4 attempts, Krishi Agarwal is saying 11 attempts. So मेरे को जो देख के लग रहा है एवरेज नंबर ऑफ अटेम्प्ट्स डबल फिगर में तो पहुंचे हैं, 9-10 के आसपास है, which is slightly higher than what I saw in slot 1. Slot 1 में I was seeing it at closer to 8-9. So I'm seeing 1 or 2 questions slightly higher in this one. And basis what you were saying, you were also saying maybe 10-11 questions पे 99 लगेगा, और हम slot 1 में बोल रहे थे वो शायद 9-10 पे हो. तो मे बी फ्रॉम slot 1 to slot 2 एक क्वेश्चन का फर्क शायद दिख रहा हो, या फिर वो सिमिलर टू slot 1 होगा. Do you agree from a quant perspective? Does that make sense?
सिमिलर होगा, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन गलत हो जाते हैं. मेरी समझ से whosoever is targeting 99 should get around 10 correct question. 11 है तो शॉर्ट 99 है इसमें. आई थिंक 90 परसेंटाइल जो आजकल सेक्शनल कट ऑफ का क्राइटेरिया बच्चों को मैं बोलता हूँ 90% तो आना ही चाहिए. मेरी समझ से 6 करेक्ट क्वेश्चंस में आ जाएगा.
हाँ, which is very close to what last year. So 18 मार्क हो सकता है, 18 ना हो, 17 या 16 हो जाए, but more or less in that ballpark is basically what we are saying. You have to take a range, you have to take it with a little pinch of salt, because this is what, half an hour after the exam. This is a personal opinion, personal impression, and basis what we've gotten talking to 10-20 students जो हम बात कर पाए हैं. Obviously, as more and more data comes in, we'll be able to give you a better interpretation and a better understanding of क्या है. पर देख के जो लग रहा है, I think chat box पे भी यही चल रहा है कि DILR last year से tougher है, maybe roughly about 3 to 4 questions, maybe about a set, and Quant either similar, which means around at 30-33, or maybe 1 question tougher is basically what we are getting. So if we are comparing it with slot 1, जो फर्क दिख रहा है, maybe Quant plus DILR combined में 1-1.5 क्वेश्चन का फर्क होगा, क्वांट प्लस डीआईएलआर इन द मॉर्निंग स्लॉट वी वर स्टेटिंग, दोनों को कंबाइन करके अगर 30 आ गए, मे बी डीआईएलआर में 13-14, क्वांट में अबाउट 16-17, तो आपको 90 दोनों में आ जाएगा इंडिविजुअली. यहाँ पे मे बी इट माइट गो अप अ लिटिल बिट कि क्वांट में शायद 2-3 मार्क शायद और चाहिए हो, वो 15-16 की जगह माइट गो अप टू अबाउट 17-18. अदर देन दैट इट सीम्स वेरी सिमिलर. VARC, योर टेक शरद. आई वाज हियरिंग यू टेलिंग मी कि एआई वाला जो पैसेज है चैट जीपीटी.
हाँ, चैट जीपीटी वाला एक पैसेज आया था, मेरी समझ से पैसेज पढ़ने में तो बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग था, बड़ा आसान था, उसके क्वेश्चन थोड़े क्लोज थे एंड मेरी समझ से उसमें गलती हो सकती है, बट जो मेरा टेक रहता है वीआरसी का, वो ये रहता है कि वीआरसी में आप कुछ भी कर लो, आपका एक पर्टिकुलर परसेंटेज ऑफ मिस्टेक्स तो होगा. तो जो वीआरसी है मेरी समझ से टिपिकल, जो इसमें तो हल्का फुल्का चेंज लग रहा है, उन्होंने एक अलग क्वेश्चन दिया है, फिर पैसेज दिया है, फिर 2 अलग क्वेश्चन दिए हैं, फिर पैसेज दिए हैं, और दे हैव डन गॉन इनटू 2 plus 4x4 format. 4x4 मतलब 4 passages 4 questions and 4 types के है, पैरा जंबल्स है, पैरा समरी है, ऑड इवन आउट है, मिसिंग सेंटेंस है, ऐसे करके उन्होंने 4 वो दिए. मेरी समझ से वीए में जो फॉलो किया है 1 इजी 1 मॉडरेट. तो जिसने वीए में 1 इजी वाला नहीं किया है, जैसे पैरा समरी का एक तो बहुत इजी लग रहा था, पैरा सिंबल भी इजी लग रहा था, ऑड वन आउट, वो तो यदि मैं देखूं कि कितने पे मेरे बच्चों का सिलेक्शन अच्छा रहेगा, देखो यदि वीआरसी बहुत स्ट्रांग है, जैसा मैंने बहुत सारे बच्चों का देखा जिनका वीआरसी की वजह से फाइनल 90s में आता है या फाइनल 80s में आता है, 70s में आता है. मेरी समझ से a good attempt in this will not be less than 16-17. Will not be less than 16-17 with having around 75% of accuracy.
So
that will
I
get you
think
95 to 96.
Yeah, so VARC, if we go ahead and we have a look at what people are stating, I see 13 attempts from Debraj, I see 23 from Pankhuri, that seems very, very high. Prakriti is saying 20 attempts, which is good again. Sachi is saying 13, 20 from Rudraksh, 13 from Juhi. So once again, very easily visible that VARC में attempts highest है. And ये भी बहुत clear है कि roughly on an average 16, 17, 18 attempt तो हुए हैं. So I think it's also going to become a game of accuracy. One thing which I see slightly different, Sharad, here from slot 1 is, slot 1 mein what we observed was कि the passages were difficult to read, all of them, but the questions were slightly easier. Elimination was possible. यहाँ पे दोनों का mix आया है. Like you said, agriculture वाला पैसेज जो था वो easy था, लेकिन AI वाला पैसेज जो चैट जीपीटी वाला पैसेज पढ़ने में ठीक था, लेकिन questions tricky थे. तो यहाँ पे दोनों elements mix मैच आए हैं. Some might be easier to read but difficult questions, some might be slightly more difficult to read but easier questions. Slot 1, everything was difficult to read but the questions were easier. So that might also have have some sort of an impact. What the impact would be, we don't know, but I think that is a slight difference from slot 1. Would you agree?
Absolutely correct. What I feel, that by looking at VARC as an aspirant, if I look at the paper, if the first question para jumble, after that I have seen that particular RC question, I feel कि हाँ ये cat हो जाएगा मेरे से. So it was not a scary one. In my opinion, LRDI was slightly tough on the kids. LRDI will be a session to root in for.
Yeah, I get
LRDI
that. I
was,
get that.
yeah.
So Yashwant is saying, speak in English, please. I'm unable to understand. Yashwant, the first impression are in English. We've got a detailed analysis coming at 4 o'clock, which will be divided into 2 different streams. One a English, which is Hindi plus English, and one only English. Please join the English one; it will help you. But basically, what we're trying to state is, if we look at slot 1, all RCs were slightly difficult to read. Options were easier to eliminate. In slot 2, it seems like there is a mixture. There were certain RCs which were slightly easy to read, but the questions were difficult and the options were difficult. Also, then there were certain RCs where the reading also wasn't too simple and straightforward. So it's been a good mixture. So overall, what we are seeing is, Sharad, my understanding is slot 1 and slot 2, not a lot of change. Maybe 2 things that could have happened is slot 2 people might have been slightly more aware that it's going down the line of it being slightly tougher, because slot 1 ke liye it would have been a surprise right from one of the easiest cats, especially in DILR, to what they experienced today. But slot 2 might have gone in with a slight more preparation, So maybe it might not have looked as scary as slot 1, but still it's not easy for sure. It is still difficult. I think it's very, very clear. Um, just to reiterate, what we feel is slot 1 DILR and slot 2 DILR quite similar. Slot 1 quant may be a question tougher than slot 2 or more or less the same. Slot 1 verbal and slot 2 verbal seem similar, where slot 1 verbal was more difficult to read but easier to answer because elimination was easier. But in slot 2, a good mixture in terms of reading and questions. So that's basically overall
GB,
takeaway of what we are trying to state.
GB, one last point
Yeah.
which I want to tell on this first impression. Uh, I feel that because algebra questions were slightly, there, and it was simpler compared to other questions. Students have found, I have talked to the student in slot 1 as well as slot 2. I have found a student coming from slot 2 was not so bright. It may be that they're hungry also because it's an afternoon time,
Hmm.
but still I think their faces were slightly long drawn compared to slot 1.
Yeah.
I think quant may algebra was simpler, but that is not the case with most of the aspirants. Uh,
Yeah, so
that is
then
the
maybe not a lot of difference then in slot 1 and 2 overall. I think it might be very, very similar overall when we have a look at it. uh, yeah, so this is basically what it looks like, what's on your screen at this point in time. If you look at the ideal attempts, we are stating 2 RCs plus 4 VA should be a nice place. Ideally 8 VAs across both slots is something that we stated you should do, because verbal, the different types of questions that were there जो अलग टाइप के थे, हर में एक तो निकल जाता, तो 4-5 तो अच्छे अटेम्प्ट हो सकते थे वर्बल में. Maybe 2-3 you could have guessed. So verbal, I think, should have been a savior. We stated that in slot 1 as well. RCs, once again, I think हमने slot 1 में भी बोला था, max 3 attempt करोगे, 4 कर लिया तो आप god level हो, 3 attempt हो सकते, which means 2 RCs should be good.
yes.
With decent accuracy. If you get about 6-7 questions right out of those 8 questions, you've done a good job. So that's what verbal looks like. And DILR, like Sharath pointed out, 2.5 sets, matlab you've done very well. 2.5 sets, अगर आपका 90 to 100% accuracy है, you might be very close to a 99 percentile, मतलब वो 30 के आसपास. Maybe it might actually be a little lower than that as well. So in case you are one of those, and I see a lot of you all stating, yaar, internship dila do, yaar, cat is over, what to do now, I will look at 26. Guys, relax. Don't be surprised if 4 question ka attempt means sectional done 85 percentile aa gaya.
Yes.
Don't be surprised. It is possible. You have not lost any hope. You should not lose any hope. Relax. Percentiles here will surprise you. I stated that at the end of slot 1. We're still stating that at the end of slot 2. Have a little bit of hope. Be positive. You might have done way better than you're anticipating. Please keep in mind, last year, considering the DILR section and how easy it was, 99 at 37, 50 percentile was at 3 marks. 50% of India could attempt one question and get it right. So this year, when we are saying it's difficult, where will 50 percentile go? Will it be zero? Will it be negative? So you might be in for certain surprises. Don't lose hope. Please stay positive. Please stay optimistic. Focus shifts to NMAT, SNAP, ZAT. Focus doesn't shift to CAT 26 at this point in time. Don't do that. You have other very good viable options, and wait for the response sheet to be declared, wait for the percentiles to be out, and you might be in for a surprise कि यार मेरे को लगा था नहीं होगा, but sectional of DILR is done, and guess what, quant and verbal have gone ahead and still scored. So you don't know, so please be upbeat. And similarly in quant, like Sharad stated, maybe even 7-8 attempts with 90% accuracy and sectional could be done. Like Sharad said,
Yes.
90 percentile is possible around 17-18. Sectional
Six
to
marks.
80-85 होता है.
Correct.
Sectional to 80-85 होता है, मतलब 15 to 16 could help you with a sectional. So again,
100%.
be positive.
100%. 15, 16, you will clear 85.
Yeah, so please be positive. Juhi, you should not be demotivated. And I'm telling you all this, motivation factor चाहिए, like करो stream को team के लिए, और motivation jargons देंगे, और motivation फंडा देंगे. The objective is simple. If somebody in slot 1 was telling me, sir, मैंने calculate किया है, after the analysis, I feel I will score in the vicinity of 50-52. And I told that person, even a 50-52 might be 93-94 overall. I am once again repeating the same. Maybe a 50-55 here could be a 93-95-97 overall. You don't know what is going to happen. CAT 2025 is difficult. CAT 2025 is easily, if not more, at least 5 to 6 questions tougher than CAT 2024 overall. And CAT
Oh,
2024 99 was at 95 marks. If I'm
96.
talking about five questions tougher, you're automatically down to early 80s, late 70s. That
Yes, yes.
automatically is giving you an indicator. So please be
100%.
upbeat.
In sync, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. It is slightly easier than 23, but of course tougher than, maybe slightly tougher because of LRDI than 24. I think marks will slide from 96. It will be somewhere around, because we are just coming fresh. I think it will be somewhere around late 80s. It will not slide below that for 99%. Late
Yeah.
80s will be the.
Sure. So let's see. And guys, normalization obviously hoga. Now, if people have done
होगा,
better in
बिल्कुल
slot
होगा.
two, slot one
That
people
will
will
do.
get an advantage. If people have done worse in slot two, slot one will get an advantage. Slot two will get an advantage. Whatever it is, normalization will happen. Please do not worry. And I hope this is reducing your anxiety. And like the team is stating at the back end, jao like karo stream. You will feel better after liking. Positive vibes हमारे end से भी आएगी. Okay. Let's see what are the couple of things that students are saying. Bharti is saying VARC was dense, DILR moderate, Quant was calculation heavy. I think very similar to what we are stating. DILR moderate is something which is new because I think most of us have been stating thoda tougher ke end pe. Moderate means you might have done well, or maybe it is just one or two
Congratulations.
questions easier. So I think yeah, you've done well. Quants was hard, so I was able to attempt only 8. 7 would be right. 7 right, 1 wrong. Same assume karu it's an MCQ which is wrong. 20 score. Don't be surprised if 20 is a 93, 94 percentile. Because if 17, 18 would be a 90, 3, 4 marks में 2, 3 percentile आएगा. You could be at a
आएगा
93,
94,
94.
94, 95 ऐसा ही है बिल्कुल.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. In sync.
So don't be worried. Okay. So don't preempt ki it has gone bad and so on and so forth. Aviral, what is Aviral stating? VARC was easy to moderate. LRDI was easy. Quant was tough and very lengthy. 5% direct and doable. Lovely.
Yes, yes,
So
lovely,
Aviral, if
very
it was
good.
easy, considering what others are stating, I think scaling will help you a lot. Always remember, in a difficult slot, if you do well, scaling helps you the most there. If LRDI is difficult, say the most difficult in your slot, and you've done well, max effect of scaling will happen for you there. So good to hear. Do not worry too much. Juhi, I wouldn't be too worried, okay? I wouldn't be too worried at this point in time. Quant prediction I've gone ahead and given overall. So I hope this kind of gives you a brief idea of what it is that we're going ahead and stating. This is what our first impressions are. We've stated that slot 2 obviously difficult than 24, 23. Similar to VARC, if we are saying it's similar to 23, pretty close to 22. DILR easily more difficult than last year, which was a sitter, I think, from a DILR perspective. 23 ke mutabik similar hai, like Sharad was stating, I think close to about 2023. Then when it comes to Quant, once again, we are stating the same thing, that maybe it was pretty close to about 23 overall. Maybe a question tougher than last year. What to do now? 2 to 3 things to do. CAT score calculator, www.careerlauncher.com/cat. Go ahead, fill it ASAP. जितनी जल्दी करोगे, by the time we come for the analysis at 4 o'clock, and Sharat sir will be there at that time. He remembers a few quant questions. He remembers 1 or 2 sets of DLR. He will be discussing that at 4 p.m. across the 2 streams. So if you want to know कि मेरे वो questions right हुए नहीं हुए, what can I expect, in terms of the percentile, please do join us at 4. Go to careerlauncher.com/cat. Put in your estimates of optimistic and pessimistic estimates. It will help us predict a little bit more in terms of how you can go ahead and score, and it will also help us give you a ballpark percentile, which is something that we're trying to do maybe towards the end of today or early tomorrow. But if there is not enough data, we will not be able to do that. So we need you to go ahead and put enough data so that we are able to go ahead and help you, and it's going to help you understand कि मैं कितना ला सकता हूँ, one, and second, also give you a little bit of motivation for the upcoming exam. So do not miss out on that. Okay. One thing, Vignesh, which I think Vignesh is pointing it out. Vignesh, I think you were there in slot 1 as well, right? If I'm not wrong. And I had pointed this out in the stream as well. Calculator is important. I had used calculator in slot 1 as well. In quant, I used it in about 2 to 3 questions. DILR mein utna nahi, maybe one calculation question, but that calculation was easy. But in quant, surely I did. Arpana, what is Aparna? Sorry, Aparna is stating 21, 9, 12. QA was something else. How does this look? 22 is a very good attempt. Even with 70% accuracy, you would have done fabulously in verbal. 9 in DLR is again good attempt if accuracy is going to be good. 12 in quant once again is a very good attempt if accuracy is even 80%. up it, even if 75% accuracy, that will be close to 25 plus, which means it will surely be a 96, 97 in quant, if not more, maybe a 98 also. So I think Aparna, you've done quite well, and you should be happy, and you should also probably start looking at GDPI prep, क्योंकि कुछ ना कुछ call तो आएगा. So overall, guys, this is basically what we wanted to go ahead and share. I hope this has helped you all a little. Catch us for the in-depth analysis at 4 o'clock. Sharat sir will be there. I'll also be there to give you a brief overview and comparison with slot 1 to help a little in terms of benchmarking ki slot 1 ke mutabik kaisa tha. But do catch us at 4 o'clock, and all over to Sharat sir to go ahead and discuss and alleviate आप लोग का स्ट्रेस एंड टेंशन कि वो थोड़े क्वेश्चंस लेके आएंगे आंसर्स के साथ, ताकि आपको लगे हाँ यार मेरे 12 मार्क तो निकल गए, 15 तो निकल गए, 9 तो निकल गए, व्हाटएवर, कुछ तो
Okay.
पॉकेट में आया.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it from our end, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. Do catch us at the 4 p.m. thing, and go ahead like this stream, yaar, very important. तभी 4 p.m. में हम भी जोश के साथ आएंगे. See you, bye bye. Catch you at the 4 p.m. full-fledged analysis. Tata.
Bye, kids.